Air India, Flight 182. On the 23rd of June, 1985, Air India, Flight 182, a Boeing 747 known as Kanishka, departed on its journey from Montreal to London and then to Delhi. While flying off the coast of Ireland at an altitude of over 30,000 feet, the aircraft was destroyed by a blast in mid-air. All 329 people on board lost their lives, making it one of the most severe aviation incidents of the 20th century, the most impactful tragedy connected to Canada until 2001. Behind this tragedy was a complex backdrop of the 1,980 seconds. Following Operation Blue Star in India, tensions spread across Sikh communities abroad, including in Canada. Some extremist groups developed plans targeting India's national airline. At that time, aviation security still had significant gaps, and weak coordination between intelligence and law enforcement agencies allowed the plot to unfold. The plan was carried out through transferred luggage. A suitcase containing an explosive device was sent from Vancouver without an accompanying passenger, exposing flaws in passenger baggage matching procedures. As Kanishka crossed the Atlantic, a timer triggered the device, causing the aircraft to break apart and fall into the ocean without sending a distress signal. On the same day, another device detonated at Narita Airport in Japan, leading to the loss of 2 ground staff, later confirmed as part of the same coordinated plan. The consequences were devastating. 329 lives were lost, leaving many families shattered in an instant. The Indo-Canadian community, as well as Indians worldwide, faced deep grief. At the same time, Canada was confronted with pressing questions about its security capacity and intelligence capabilities, while countries such as India, Ireland, the United Kingdom joined in rescue and investigation efforts. This incident became a turning point in aviation security. New rules were introduced, requiring checked baggage to travel only with passengers, tightening screening for transferred luggage, and upgrading scanning systems. Canada also recognized that serious security threats could emerge within its own borders. Legally, the trial process stretched on for years, but only one individual, the bombmaker, was convicted. Other suspects, though believed to have played key roles, were acquitted due to a lack of direct evidence. This highlighted a crucial lesson. Intelligence sharing, evidence preservation, interagency coordination, and witness protection are essential links in preventing and responding to such threats. Nearly 4 decades later, Air India Flight 182 remains remembered as one of Canada's most profound tragedies. June 23 each year is observed as a National Day of Remembrance, with memorials established in Canada and Ireland to honor the loss. Books, documentaries, and academic studies continue to document the collective memory, making the event a case study in aviation security and risk management. Over time, the memory of Flight 182 has come to symbolize not only remembrance, but also a lasting lesson on the importance of aviation safety, vigilance, and the need to learn from past failures to prevent them from happening again. Lockerbie. On the 21st of December 1988, Pan Am Flight 103, a Boeing 747 named Clipper Maid of the Seas, departed from London's Heathrow Airport on its journey to New York. Just 38 minutes after takeoff, the aircraft was torn apart by a blast over the town of Lockerbie, Scotland. All 259 passengers and crew, along with 11 residents on the ground, did not survive. The blast caused the plane to disintegrate, scattering wreckage across an area of more than 800 square miles. It became one of the most severe aviation incidents of the 20th century, and the deadliest event ever to take place on British soil. The tragedy was rooted in the international tensions of the 1,980 seconds, particularly between Libya and the West. After years of conflict, investigators determined that the blast was linked to Libyan intelligence as an act of retaliation. The device had been concealed in a suitcase that began its journey in Malta, passed through Frankfurt, and was finally loaded onto Pan Am 103 inches London. The suitcase traveled without an accompanying passenger, a reflection of the aviation security gaps at the time. Disguised inside a radio cassette player and equipped with a timer, the device detonated once the plane had reached cruising altitude. The blast tore through the baggage compartment, causing the aircraft to break apart almost instantly. On that Christmas night, the town of Lockerbie was engulfed in flames, with several houses destroyed. Following an international investigation, in 2001, a special Scottish court convened in the Netherlands found Abdel Basset al-Megrahi, a Libyan intelligence officer, guilty. The trial was unprecedented, held in a third country to ensure fairness and security. The loss of 270 lives sent shockwaves around the world. Among them were 190 Americans, 43 Britons, and passengers from several other countries, including 35 Syracuse University students. In Lockerbie, 11 residents lost their lives when debris fell on their neighborhood, leveling an entire row of homes. Beyond the human toll, the tragedy also accelerated the downfall of Pan Am, one of America's most iconic airlines, which declared bankruptcy only a few years later. The Lockerbie case exposed critical flaws in aviation security: unchecked transfer baggage and suitcases allowed on board without their owners. In response, new rules were introduced, requiring checked baggage to travel only with passengers, improving explosive detection technologies, and strengthening international intelligence cooperation. Diplomatically, Libya faced years of sanctions and in 2003 agreed to compensate the victims' families, while still denying direct responsibility. More than 3 decades later, the memory of Lockerbie remains vivid. In the small town, the Drifesdale Memorial, inscribed with the names of all 270 people lost, serves as the site of annual gatherings. In the United States, Arlington National Cemetery features a memorial built from 270 stones brought from Scotland. Syracuse University also maintains annual scholarships in remembrance of the 35 students. Though debates have persisted, particularly regarding the evidence against Megrahi, Lockerbie is regarded by historians as a sorrowful milestone in aviation history. It is not only the memory of a small town, but also a reminder of the fragility of global security and the high cost when threats cross national borders. Oklahoma City. On the 19th of April 1995, at exactly 9:02 a.m., a massive blast struck the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in downtown Oklahoma City. The entire north facade of the 9-story structure was nearly destroyed. The tragedy claimed 168 lives, including 19 children, and left more than 600 others wounded. It was regarded as the most severe act of domestic terrorism in U.S. history until 2001. The attacker's motive was tied to a wave of anti-government extremism in the early 1992s, especially after the controversial events at Ruby Ridge and Waco. Timothy McVeigh, a Gulf War veteran influenced by far-right ideology, deliberately chose April 19, exactly 2 years after Waco, as the date for his action. During the preparations, he received assistance from Terry Nichols in obtaining the materials. McVeigh rented a Ryder truck and packed it with more than 2 tons of industrial explosive material. The vehicle was parked directly outside the building's north side, beneath the daycare center used by employees' children. At 9:02 a.m., the blast went off, tearing through the structure and causing multiple floors to collapse in a pancake effect. More than 300 nearby buildings were also damaged by the shockwave and shattered glass. The aftermath was devastating: 168 lives lost, hundreds more wounded, and much of downtown left in ruins. Just 90 minutes later, McVeigh was stopped by an Oklahoma State trooper for driving without a license plate and was taken into custody. Forensic evidence quickly linked the attack to Nichols, his accomplice. McVeigh was sentenced to death, and his sentence was carried out in 2001, while Nichols received life imprisonment without parole. The event forced the United States to tighten security at federal facilities. New regulations required greater standoff distances in front of government buildings, reinforced barriers, and standards to prevent vehicle-borne explosives. In 1996, Congress passed the Anti-Terrorism and Effective Death Penalty Act, streamlining legal procedures and strengthening penalties. Authorities also increased monitoring of domestic extremist groups. On the original site of the Murrah Building, the Oklahoma City National Memorial was completed and dedicated in 2000. The space features a reflecting pool, 2 monumental gates inscribed 9-1 and 9-3, and 168 empty chairs, symbolizing those who were lost, including 19 smaller chairs representing the children. It serves not only as a place of remembrance, but also as a civic space to educate about the dangers of extremist violence. Each year, on April 19, memorial ceremonies are held to honor the past while affirming the spirit of community resilience, something locals call the Oklahoma Standard. The event remains a powerful reminder of life's fragility and the importance of vigilance in preventing threats from within society itself.